great career, batted almost 300, 297 for his career, 379 home runs, over 1,100 runs scored, over 1,300 RBIs, and over 2,000 hits. He was a 1999 Hall of Famer. That was one heck of a class because that was Robin Yount, Nolan Ryan, Orlando Cepeda, and the greatest third baseman of all time, George Brett.
Homer.
But no, it's just that's 4 Hall of Famers this month. We had Bill Walton, Jerry West, Willie Mays, Orlando Cepeda, and it's all West Coast Hall of Famers too. So it's like really hitting home. Very
lucky in my career of working with autographs that I worked with 3 of the 4 of those Hall of Famers, and the ones that I worked with, Bill Walton, Jerry West, and Orlando, could not have been nicer. I posted on our Instagram a couple of signings that we did with him before we even had True Sports Cards. I had True Autographs, and that company that I still own had done 3 signings with Orlando. We went to his house to do it, and he couldn't have been nicer. His age was really showing in the last year. He did a signing in Concord, I believe it was like 6 months ago.
Yeah, it was like the fall of last year.
He didn't look that great. I actually felt kind of terrible that he was out there signing autographs, but that's him and his family's prerogative. I would have loved to have had one more chance to say goodbye to him, but a legend. RIP to San Francisco Giants legend Orlando Cepeda. And strangely enough, I can't believe that he was part of the Veterans Committee to get in. Mm-hmm. So he didn't even make it in the regular voting. He made it with the Veterans Committee in 1999.
Which is sad because he was one of the best players of his generation, of his era. And the Giants had to trade him just because there was a logjam with him and Willie McCovey playing first and what they were going to do there. And he was a Royal too. Royal legend Orlando Cepeda. Always got to get that in there.
Here's the other thing too. The first time I worked with him was in 2020 during COVID. And we were telling stories and I got something wrong. I guessed the wrong batting average or something. I was like, no. I batted 309 or whatever he said. And I was like, this guy at 83 years old, correcting the young buck and telling me I was wrong.
Those guys remember everything. I remember when we had Raleigh in shop and we were showing old highlights of him at the end of the signing. And he was telling us, this is game 6 of this World Series. I'm going to throw this pitch, then this. And this was from the early 70s. And Raleigh could remember pitch for pitch what he was throwing. I guess when it's that big of a moment, it stands out. And also, too, you're very proud of your career. So you do remember those things. They stand out no matter how old. Yeah. And, it's same goes with you. I guarantee when you're 80-something years old, you're going to be dropping the names like you do now, and we'll have to scoop them up for you.
80-something years. When I'm 80-something years old, my son will still be younger than you are right now.
That's true.
That's bad. All right, so let's get into some of our topics today. Shep did the show notes, but Emil's going to drive the bus for a second. So go ahead. Why don't we start off with our conversation about the Fairfield Card Show and where we're at this moment?
Yeah, Fairfield Card Show happening this weekend. It's a big show, a 3-day event. The boys are already out there. I believe Pete was out there yesterday buying and doing his thing. I saw the photos coming back with suitcases, it feels like, fool. And that was just on day 1, it feels like. So
yeah, Beck and I are headed there right after this show. So we're going to go there. The interesting part about it, we kind of changed our strategy. Mm-hmm. Normally when a card shop goes to a card show and sets up, they're there to sell cards.
Yep.
The last 3 shows we've gone to and not brought one single card. So we go with no cards and some funds, and then we come back with all the cards.
Yep.
But I think that's really important to make sure that we are selling cards to our customers in store. It's really important to me. You go to shows as a consumer.
Yes.
Emil, what do you look for when you're going to shows like the Fairfield Card Show?
Yeah, it's unique that way. And I wouldn't say I have I do a PC, but my PC is widespread. It's more so of a sport PC. I have a basketball PC. That's my sport. So I collect a variety of different autographs. So I will go get a lot of Kings stuff because Kings is my team. That's my main PC. But I'll also go buy the obscure autographs. If I see an autograph that I think can go up on the upswing, like, for example, and this didn't prove out to be profitable, but I bought a Wendell Carter Jr. rookie auto last year, and I was like, Wendell's played really well for Orlando. They're an up-and-coming team. Well, it turns out they were up-and-coming just without Wendell on the court. So that one didn't have it. So, again, I look for more obscure stuff. Again, I usually have the philosophy of if I see it and I want it, I kind of go get it.
If you see something, you say something?
See something, you say something.
Here's what I would tell you too, as a little bit of advice, as somebody that's looking from a 30,000-foot view. I don't really collect PC, exception of a few sets, Jason Williams, but for the most part, I don't really PC much. But as an overview, as somebody who sees PCs every day, I would say, Emil, just as a quick tip from me to you,
Okay.
I would say stay away from anybody that is not at least the second banana on a team.
Yeah.
Because they're just not going to get the shine unless they're out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Example, I think locally, Malik Monk is a fun investment.
Mhm.
Is it a profitable one? Depends on if he goes on a little hot streak.
It does.
But outside of Domas and Fox, maybe Keegan even Keegan, you saw a dip in.
Keegan,
was-
Oh,
Keegan's
his-
market's weird.
His market, the bottom fell out.
So
Right.
weird.
So if you think of the two bananas, that's a Jordan and Pippen.
Yeah.
Right. Paolo and maybe Franz. But when you get to that third or fourth guy, it's a little tough. And so as far as the investment side,
Mhm.
and I think that's where a lot of people have to make that decision and say, does real life transfer to Hobby Love?
Well, I think the biggest part of it is if you were local in Orlando, probably better because like even
Yeah.
last year, Keon Ellis was probably
Oh my gosh.
outselling Domas and Fox at shows because he has very little and people were seeking him out because he was the new hot thing and there wasn't a lot of his product out there. And people kind of fell in love as a fan favorite.
Mhm.
That's why, like, when we see these products like Topps Archive Signature Series, and you get a Barry Zito auto in there, or you get a Brandon Crawford, or you're getting these guys that, hey, they might have been an all-star here or there. And people are like, well, why is this guy in the product? It's because the fan base of that team, even though he might not have been a huge MLB star, he was a name,
Great locally.
great local.
Yeah.
And that's why some of these guys get into products. And then I think that's why you see certain guys in the air in whatever area they're playing in get a huge bump in love with their stuff. So when a guy leaves town or gets traded, that's when you put that stuff up and hopefully that next town wants to buy him.
So if I was looking from the investment standpoint,
Mhm.
that makes sense to go out of your area to buy your PC. As an
Yes.
example, whenever I go to the National or I'm on the East Coast, I can come back with really great deals for King stuff
Mhm.
because that stuff is not on the internet for that guy's table at that moment.
Correct.
Right. So a Fox, I might be able to say, look, we're here in New Jersey. I'll buy that Darren Fox for 50% of comp. And the guy's like, I'm an older guy that doesn't use the internet very well. So sure, just take it because I'm
Yeah.
never going to sell it here locally.
Yeah.
It's, of course, you're going to pay for the travel there, right? The hotels and the flights and all that
Yes.
stuff. But still, if you're looking for particular cards, it's your chance. I know that you have a particular PC, which I love your PC that you're working on, which is the Downtown
Oh yeah.
of
The,
2017.
the first edition 2016-17 Studio Downtown Basketball.
How close are you?
I am 3 cards away. I'm the big 3 away. LeBron, Curry, and Kobe.
What are we looking at on the fees or something like that?
It's getting
He's
close
gonna
to
need-
5 figures probably.
He's gonna need some
It'd be
overtime.
Each?
No. Total. It'd be 5 figures. It's a lot. It's a lot of money.
When's your birthday?
March 2nd.
Yeah, we got a whole year to go. We're fine.
We better-
We'll see if we can find it.
Again,
Listen, I'm saving my quarters right now.
I did most of the buying during the offseason last year when I started this PC hunt, and I have kind of held off on other stuff and other ventures because it's been Wemby's year. It's been a really big year for me as an investor and a collector to rip product because I know with this current class that just came in, I'm not gonna be ripping as much product because there isn't that top rookie that I see long term having that value right now.
Can we get into the draft and these guys?
Just real quick,
Okay.
2 other people that are signing
There we go.
at the Fairfield Card Show. Coco Crisp.
Today at 11.
So in about
We've got
45
45
minutes till Coco Crisp arrives. And then Charlie Garner, somebody that actually wanted for our expo. It didn't work out. There was a family member that was graduating high school or something during our event.
Just miss it.
Yeah.
It's a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah.
Just miss it. Come and hang out
Did
with
he
us.
did he go down?
He just
No,
fell.
he just sat down.
Oh, okay. Sat down. My
Yeah.
son.
Yeah, he just
Yeah.
sat down.
Don't worry. My son just collapsed on the ground, just sitting there.
He's just
Yeah, he
hanging out.
smiled and laughed at me.
Okay,
so he's
good.
good.
Yeah, he's good.
Well,
good.
if I looked at you, I'd smile and laugh too. NBA draft, 2024
Speaking
NBA
of
draft.
laughing.
Speaking
What? Okay.
Yeah, man.
Go for it.
First of all, ESPN, the coverage, not great.
No.
Not great.
No.
And real quick, can the NBA figure out, and this is just a rant of mine, but can they work it out with the Players Association so we can have the
Oh.
contract ratified enough time so we can actually trade the draft pick to the team that the guy's going to so they don't have to go, well, this pick is going to here, and then because of this and that, and then you kind of forget who's drafting the guy. and you have to wait like
I
3
mean,
days for them to figure
Like the Kings picked somebody in the second round, which is not going to be theirs.
because they
Well,
traded it with.
Don't you love when Adam Silver comes up and announces the trade that we've known for the last half hour?
Yeah,
don't,
and he goes-
don't you love that?
He's getting traded for future things.
Consideration.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then he moves on. It's like, come on, bro.
Well, the biggest gripe, and Emil, you're a journalist, so you would understand this better than us. There was a real gripe about Shams and Woj dropping the draft pick a minute or 2 minutes prior to the pick actually happening.
2018.
It was
debacle.
really pissing people off, and I was like, not sure if that was the case until I saw on Reddit. I was reading a couple things online where people were like, "How do we make sure that this doesn't happen?" And so people were turning off their notifications
Yes.
because they were being alerted a minute prior, and then more importantly, they turn off all notifications so they didn't see trades, they didn't see any of this stuff.
Yeah.
Let me share something. And this is, I have not talked to my sources or reports or anything like that. I don't know if you guys remember the 2018 draft when Woj kept saying the Kings they're eyeing this guy,
Oh,
or
yes.
the Pelicans they're enthusiastic about this person.
He was subverting, saying that it was an actual
Correct.
pick.
So after that, we've seen Woj take a step back more and more from announcing the picks. I believe because of the contractual obligations that ESPN has with the NBA, they have told Woj, "Hey man, let's
Slow
not
down.
do that anymore."
Well, him and Shams are still fighting it out.
They-
Well, Sham does that now. Woj does not, because I think they've told Woj, "You got to let it play out, man. You can't be breaking the news all the time."
You have a contract with ESPN.
It's a TV show. The
Yeah.
draft is a TV show. They have to let the show play out the way they need it
Could you
to.
imagine spoilers ahead of time?
Well, they told Schefter the same thing because there was a draft where they were just slamming every pick 2 minutes before, 3 minutes. The team would come on the clock and Schefter would tell you who the pick was. And it was like, why am I even watching this?
Right.
You're killing it now.
Yep.
And they told him to stop it. And he has. I just think it's like, come on, like, let's enjoy it. Let's be able to know where these guys are going. First pick was the Hawks, and they took Zachary Richeche.
Risha Shea, yep.
And the big thing on him was he doesn't know how to shoot.
He's Harrison Barnes with his comp. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, I'm sorry. He knew how to shoot. It was the second pick to win to the Wizards. Alex Sarr. They go, he's a really good defender and rebounder.
They said he was a unicorn, which
Oh no, I'm sorry. He's a really good defender, but he has a hard time rebounding at 7'1". He can block shots.
He's
and
not
stuff.
7'1". His reach is 7'1".
Oh no, I thought Sarr was
Sarr is
7'1".
Sarr is like a center.
Yeah, he's a center.
He's 7'1".
But they said
huge,
he
dude.
can't rebound or shoot. And I was like, oh, that's good for a number 2 pick. And then Reed Shepard was the 3rd pick. And they said, well,
6'1".
all he can do is shoot. And I was like, okay. And then there's Steven Castle. Like, well, he's number 4 to the Spurs.
Stephon Castle?
Yeah. And his offense might not be real good.
Right.
So I'm like, okay.
He's not a point guard, but they're saying he is. He's not a point
yeah.
guard.
And then you got Ron Holland.
Who really can't shoot and is going to Detroit with who else can't shoot.
And then Ron Dillingham got traded for picks that are like going to be in the 5th grade next year.
Yep.
And 30-30 from the Timberwolves. But how smart of the Spurs. I love this. Hey, we're going to trade you this 1st-round pick today for 2 picks in 2030 when Anthony Edwards' contract expires into the 2029 season. So these could be
And he probably
very
was not going to ring.
Well,
this could be very good for the Spurs.
I'm going to be real with you guys because this is why they've helped smaller market teams keep players. That supermax that these players get for staying with their team is a big deal. It's a reason why De'Aaron Fox has not signed an extension right now. He's waiting another 2 years, make all NBA, and get the super max like Bradley Beal got.
I like that. If the guy's going to stay in town to try to make all of NBA, then that would be a lot better than he played last year. And he played well.
Mhm.
He played
Mulligan
all-star,
steals.
he played all-star level ball.
Yeah.
So how does this translate, this draft,
Yep.
to the hobby? We didn't even talk about
Oh,
Devin.
yeah. The Kings with the 13th pick took Devin Carter, just a taller version, Davion Mitchell.
How'd you feel about this guy?
Not great.
You don't feel good about
No, I
him?
mean, they say listen, everything they say about him is exactly what they said about Davion, but this guy's supposedly 6'2", and Davion was 6 foot and legitimately is maybe 5'9", 5'10".
I felt better
it's
about than Alan
Davion.
Styles, that's for sure. Alan Styles had a social media clip go viral on our Instagram that was not great.
And real quick, Zach Edey will be special in Memphis. Imagine
Willie,
a better version of Steven Adams. Just telling you now. But how this
What?
yes, how
Dude,
this translates into the hobby next year. I don't feel great about the product because there's no one star driving this product, any product coming out. Like a draft class needs at least 1-star rookie for people to buy in and chase.
Maybe Emil can find it while we're on the air.
Okay.
There was a graphic that showed who was Topps Fanatics exclusives and who was Panini exclusive. I don't think
Are you talking about X? Or are you talking about just random?
it might have been on X.
I'll
I'm
find
not
it.
sure. Point of it is I think it wasn't until the 6th pick. No. Reed Shepard was Panini,
Yeah.
but then the top 7 were all Fanatics.
Yeah.
So the highest pick you're going to get in a Panini signed card is going to be Reed Shepard.
6 foot wide guy.
6
Who can
foot.
shoot. Yay.
Hey, I saw him dunk twice on
Okay.
this highlight reel.
I mean, his dad was a stud at Kentucky, but didn't make it to the NBA. But, hey, we'll see what happens again. And then we had other notable first round. Like I said, Zach Edey went 9 to the Grizzlies. I'm telling you, he's not going to be an all-star. He's not, but he's going to be a team guy that you're going to go, I wish I had that dude on my team.
Yeah.
That's what he's going to be.
And I think he's a Fanatics exclusive because
He's
he
in
was
all the Bowman stuff already.
Yeah, I was going to say that Whitey pulled him in yesterday's box of Inception.
Oh.
So
That was fun to watch.
We opened
That's
a box
awesome.
on
That
the
was really
progress,
fun to watch.
and
And
Whitey.
then I heard Whitey is now off in Hawaii on some 5-star vacation because he sold that card.
I think you're wrong because I could see him through the window. He happened to stop by there. So
he was waiting for another box.
yeah,
And
he's
Nicholas
circling
Topic,
a lot.
real quick.
Nicola topic.
Okay, real quick. 6'6" point guard went 12 to the Thunder
Well, you know why he went 12.
because of his knee.
We tore his ACL. Man.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, one pick away. That's a guy that would have been great. We could have waited a year, but hey, no big deal.
Why would you wait a year?
Or
we
Dalton-
need this roster to be good now.
Or
I thought
Dalton Connect.
I was
Go to the
screaming in the
Lakers.
text message that we wanted Dalton Connect.
Yes,
I want to connect.
the guy, the offensive player that plays wing. We need wings.
What's
and
that guy-
Scores.
I'm going to be honest. There's probably another shoe to drop very shortly here for the Kings. I don't know what it is. I'm praying and hoping there is. I'm worried.
yeah.
Well, if you're going to make the trade of Davion and Sasha, you're creating one roster spot
To make
clearance.
a bunch of money. Yep.
And then you freed up money so that way you're under the luxury tax. But I believe Malik can officially sign tomorrow. Am I right?
No, tomorrow's a tampering period. Tomorrow the tampering period starts.
Oh, you
And
can start to have.
You can start to have the conversations.
Listen, guys, just like the league. This is so
It's
goofball.
so goofball.
NBA. Get real.
Well, the one big news that broke this morning: LeBron James opted out of his contract.
Come to Sacktown.
Boy, that was shocking.
Was it?
I'm shocked. Look at me roll my eyes.
I know.
Look at me roll my eyes on,
On
the
the
radio.
radio.
Yeah.
The other report that came out was that he was thinking about taking a haircut so they could use the full MLE. Okay,
He
sure
doesn't-
you
just-
will.
Plugs out.
I was just
Unplug him.
his receding hairline is not gonna do
Listen.
any.
Yeah, and LeBron. Hey, is LeBron now Delonte West? Okay.
So
Um,
he's not going to do anything other than resign with the Lakers. They didn't draft Bronny for a reason. Could you imagine? He's like, "Thanks for drafting my son. This is going to be great. I'll be in Philly. See ya."
Real quick, I at all this, it doesn't. I just feel bad for Bronny James.
To be literal in your
Forced,
dad's
Yes.
shadow.
And the thing is all this. The only reason he's in the draft is because his dad probably I feel like he felt forced to do this. I wish he would have just stood up and said, you know what, I'm going to go play college basketball, live my life, and be my own dude. Because I legitimately think he could have been a first-round pick given a year or two to develop.
Well,
He had a heart
yeah, I was
issue.
going to say people forget that he had
Yeah,
cardiac arrest.
He literally
Like I feel bad for the kid, but all this stuff, and it's like, it's not net. He's a good player. The agent called and said, "Don't take him. The Lakers are taking him. If you take him, he's going to go to Australia."
that was
I'd have
definitely
been
true.
like,
That was definitely true.
Bro, I'm taking
But
him.
here's what
and
we
I'm
know.
own his rights forever, bro.
But here's what we know: he's going to be in Topps Fanatics products
Yep.
because
Yep.
Daddy signed the agreement there. So
anyway, it's just
Yeah.
I feel bad.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll be a chase on those products. I'm excited. I haven't seen the release date for the 23-24 Topps Chrome basketball that we've all been told about. I haven't seen really a ton of
They're still
information
working
more
on
about it.
They're still working on it.
But it'd be very interesting to see what that looks like this upcoming, whenever that comes out, and what it means for this draft class with all these guys signing with Fanatics. And it's going to be a slow death for Panini product. And as a person that runs a hobby shop and works in a hobby shop, and it's our living, it's scary to me when basketball product is, it's dying.
Well-
Because there's a transition period that's going to be a little rough. And I'm glad it's not a great class during this transition period.
For my bank account, I'm glad it's not a great class because boy, have I been Wemby chasing this year. And nothing will ever live up to the chase this year for Wemby because it's been such a great fun year to chase a product because Wemby is just one of those guys.
and it's going to extend. So when
Yeah.
Topps Chrome comes out and we have Wemby autographs with what looks like his
Spurs uniform.
Spurs uniform, it's going to be one of the hottest products of the year coming out late. and that's going to compete with some of the football product. We're already starting to see football product out there. I believe we have Score coming out
Score.
in a couple weeks.
So real quick, like it's blowing my mind. 2024 Score
Oh my gosh.
is going to come out
Yeah.
before 2023 Donruss Optic Hobby. Now, you've seen Optic Hobby or retail already out there in a blaster form, a mega box form, a retail box that has 24 packs in it. All of these are out there right now.
Well, not in the wild, but I
Well,
don't see
they supposedly are available in the wild because people are buying them retail and then selling them on secondary market. Some people have brought them into our shop. But how? This is one of the most popular releases every year because you got the shiny rated rookies, the autographs, and downtowns in here. It's been pushed back, which I believe is the fourth time now, to July 19th.
Mm-hmm.
We have all these products out. Why? Why do you guys believe Hobby's been held hostage when, like, this is a product that used to come out in like November? Okay, we are in June. It's not coming out till July, and it just keeps getting pushed back. And what are you looking for?
Conspiracy Emerald has an idea of why.
Uh-oh.
So when Topps, Fanatics, and Panini are all printing out of the same facility, and it's owned by Fanatics, which is true. Fanatics owns that facility.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to be bumped to the front?
But how is the retail stuff out and not the hobby? That's what I'm saying. Like, to me, that's what's the goofball part about this is that you have retail out and no hobby, which at this time everybody's getting their full now. Everybody's eating. Everybody's getting the hollows, the rated rookies. They're getting the downtowns, which they can't get graded because there's no checklist yet. Panini. Hello.
But there's also no. There's no.
Well, there is a checklist. They're just not revealing it.
There are no numbered colors though in retail, which you're going to get in the hobby. It's the only way that they're going to have it be a
Chase.
Good product.
Yeah, but people are already taking that money. They're allocating and buying this retail stuff now, getting those cards, and they're already building a surplus ready to drop to PSA to get graded instantly as the checklist comes out. It's just goofball. How are you making a product without a public checklist? It's just to me, it's a joke.
And as you just said, there's no numbered in retail as much. It's more so parallels and colors like that. But the big chase and the reason why this product has been so heavily sought after is because, and you guys can speak to this as shop owners and people who work in LCSs, downtowns have just exploded. The market for downtowns is hot.
And repackers are really going crazy.
I think that's what's driving the price up because everybody knows if I pull one, I can maybe
sell it to a repacker for 95%.
Yeah, that's going to pay, and they're going to keep paying up and up and up, and that's what's driving this price up. So what happens to the market? I just want to put this out there. When these repackers start to not do so well, or people start to see like there are good repackers. And what a repack is real quick is somebody that buys a bunch of different cards, puts them in blind bags, and then says, hey, you know what? I have 30 of these blind bags in this case. You're going to come in and they're $100 a piece or they're whatever. We're going to raffle them off and we're going to put one up here and people bid on it on, whatnot and bid it up at starting at $10 and bid it up to see how high it goes. And there's certain chase cards in there that are going to $1,000 card. You can spend $100 to get a $1,000 card type thing. Well, what happens when these repackers stop doing this or they go, you know what, we're not paying those prices anymore? What happens to that market? It's going to fall apart because you're relying on a small majority of the hobby to carry and drive your resale business because that's what's driving these downtown prices. There is going to be a point where someone says, no, I'm not paying that. I'm going to stop doing that as a repacker because I'm not making as much profit because these people are demanding too high of prices.
I think that it'll end up being a straight drop off. It won't be a trickle to where it's not going to happen. I think it's just going to be a cliff.
Yeah. Like
where people are like, I'm not going to do this anymore.
Like housing market 2008.
What's going to end up happening is that when the end consumer says, oh, I've had it, I'm not going to do this anymore. When I paid $100 for a spot and I get a card that's worth $20, I pay $1,000 for a spot and I end up with a card that's worth $300.
Yeah.
They're gonna be done with it, and when they're done with it, then the repackers won't be able to do that. I think it's just a quick cash grab as fast as they can do it, and for as long as they can. And it's unfortunate, but when the end consumer is hurt and they say enough is enough, and I'm voting with my wallet, That's the end.
And
of it.
that's where I'm at as an end consumer. I don't do breaks anymore because I would rather just buy the box outright and spend a little bit extra because at least I know I'm getting the hits.
Or just buy the card you want directly.
Exactly.
It
One
could
of
be
the
a
two.
lot cheaper route.
Yeah.
Chip,
Now come down to the shop and
so
boxes.
so we've got a particular box that I was going to put on sale, but instead of putting on sale, actually it is kind of a sale if you think about it. Last week, 2 weeks ago on Drive Guys, we opened a box of UFC Midnight.
Yeah, new
Okay.
product. Yeah.
Beautiful product. 7 cards, 3 autos per box. It was awesome product. We have it on our shelf right now at $2.95. Shep, when you get back to the shop, if you don't mind, are you working today?
I'm going to be in the shop. Not sure I'll work, but I'll be physically in the building. I have AJ there and Dave, and I think Ethan's coming in, so I might not need to work, but I'll be there.
If you do me a favor, if you can add this now as our new special, I'd like to offer this to our listeners as well as anybody else that wants to come into the shop. If they buy a box of UFC Midnight at $2.95 a box, we want you to open boxes in store.
Mhm.
I absolutely love it. I like seeing the cards come out. I love seeing the
Reactions.
hopefully great reactions of somebody pulling something awesome.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and do this wonderful special because we have a show here on Sacktown Sports 1140. Let's do one free grade with PSA value grade if they buy the box and get it opened in the shop. Then they can pick any card they want out of that box and we can grade it for them for free with PSA. It's a $30 value.
Yeah, I was going to say, listen, I'm talking to you in your ear. That's $30 you're giving away.
That's fine. I don't care. I would
Well,
rather. I'd
Raw
rather
into hot dogs this week,
yeah,
folks.
I think we have 11 boxes left. So if you have any interest in coming in, buying a box of UFC Midnight.
It's fight day anyway.
It is.
300.
Who's fighting?
Well, it was supposed to be Conor McGregor.
No one cares.
Broken toe. Poor Connor.
Oh, they showed a picture of his foot. It was disgusting.
Yeah,
You know-
I wish I wanted to see that fight.
You know who
so
else has?
bad.
You know who else has broken toes? The guy who was fighting today, Alex Pereira.
Yeah, he's tough.
Yeah,
He's going to lose.
trauma.
I'll tell you what, though.
Hey, if I had a 10-10,
Connor
I would
can't lose.
sell it today.
If you want to see a disgusting foot, Google LeBron James foot.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Big
no.
Shep's toes.
Dude,
No.
LeBron
Let's not talk about
James
feet
is-
on air.
don't if you've already ate, go ahead and Google LeBron James foot. Looks like the dude's throwing up gang signs.
Hey,
It's so bad.
I'll show you my. Yeah.
I don't want to see your feet.
You don't
either.
want to see my Quasimodo foot.
No,
That's
we
great.
don't, don't want to see that. All right, so we've got a couple of questions in the chat.
Yeah.
R. Miller's asking, do you guys ever discuss older baseball cards? The answer is yes, we
Love
do.
These two especially.
If it actually has relevancy in what's going on today. We
Yeah.
could talk about Cepeda's cards, for example, Willie Mays cards we talked a little bit about last week due to, actually you guys talked about them more 2 weeks ago, not
Yeah.
really me last week, but yeah, we talk about vintage. It's actually one of our great
Love it.
sellers in the shop. When we talk about vintage, I think of 1975 or earlier. That puts it at, 45, 50 years ago when these cards were. I know.
It's getting real close.
I was born in 77, so I'm like,
Yeah.
oh.
Hey, old man.
You know what's crazy? Elvis died in August of 77, and I was born in October of 77.
You might have a little Elvis in you.
I feel like it.
Mm.
Have you seen my sideburns when I don't cut them?
Jeez.
We should see the way he moves his head.
Mutton chops.
I
No,
wasn't
yeah,
even a thought
vintage is
at that
my
point in
favorite.
life.
Vintage is my favorite thing.
Oh,
Love it.
Speaking of, where is he? Whitey Gleason is in the house right now. Whitey, if you can hear me, because
We make him
get in here, Whitey, please. Whitey, I'm asking Whitey to come in here
There we
because,
go.
He's
because
chasing
this
your
guy
kid
there,
around.
there he is.
Yes.
You're chasing my kid? Where's my son? Oh yeah, can somebody go watch him? That'd be great.
You know, Whitey charges a box per
Per
hour.
session.
Yeah.
All right. So Whitey, there's a guy by the name of R. Miller in the chat, and he's very interested in talking about vintage. And who better to know than somebody that was born when the 1954 cards came out? Here you go. You can take over. I'm going to hold my son for a second. Get in here.
Is this a caller or is this
No, it was a
No.
YouTube listener that asked, talking about vintage cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do we talk about them? And I think it's the best. I think vintage is the best because these guys aren't going to go strike out tomorrow. Some of them aren't going to go commit any felonies or anything. They're going to get them in trouble because they're not with us anymore, or they're old men. So
Yeah. When I got back into collecting again, and when collecting really started taking off, I couldn't understand how you'd have a card of a guy who was, a star, not a superstar maybe, but a star in the 70s, a vintage card, and it wouldn't be worth nearly as much as, whoever the hottest rookie was, the variant. And I understand that now, but at the time I was like, how is this guy? We don't even know how good he's going to be. And this is more valuable than Ozzie
Yeah.
Smith or something like that.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand.
Oh, it makes me crazy too. But again, and this is what I've learned as I've transitioned from buying to selling. It's all about the hype.
yeah,
All
I know.
about
I learned,
buying
yeah.
on the upswing.
But it's goofballish because I always bring up the example. Joey Bart's first Bowman Chrome auto
Mhm.
was selling for like $500 to $600,
There you go.
and the Buster Posey was selling for like $300 or $400. But Posey had done everything
Everything.
you want a guy to do in his career: Rookie of the Year, MVP, batting title, World Series,
Yeah.
All-Star appearances, Gold Gloves, everything you wanted. Posey did, and yet Bart,
Yes,
who was a
exactly.
number 2 pick overall, hey, awesome,
Yeah.
was double the price, and look where Bart is now, barely playing with the Pirates.
Hell, O'Neal Cruz, Pirates shortstop, a guy that everyone was like, he's going to revolutionize the position. A 6'5" guy that can throw 100 miles an hour and has the speed, and he breaks his foot, and now he's not even an afterthought right now. It feels
Yeah.
like in products.
Mhm. Yeah, but that's just the nature of it, right? Because people are always looking for, ooh, I'm going to get in on the next big thing before anybody knows it's the next big thing, and usually
yeah.
it's not.
Additionally, it comes down to, and sometimes it comes to nationality. Like for example, a lot of Asian buyers love to collect Asian Americans or Asian athletes. Like Jeremy Lin has massive market still, and he hasn't played in the NBA in years. Jimmy Fredette still has a market because of how he went over there and did well in China.
What's the from the 70s on? Because the 60s, I don't go much further back than like late 60s. What to you guys is and you may not even know these, Emil, just the most attractive design of the set, aside from the rookies in it, or
Yeah,
because like the 72 Tops was one of my first I really got into.
because that
It was a
says
crazy-
1972.
Yeah,
it
it
looks
does,
like
it does.
1972 probably
yes,
felt.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Those are cool cards.
I would say when I used to have a podcast and we did a whole March Madness bracket, and at this time it was
Oh.
perfect a few years ago because there was 64 years of Topps releases. We were able to do it and break it down, and we rolled through in 1954 Topps, which ends up being Ernie Banks' rookie year, is probably one of the best looking that we had from that era. Everybody loves 50, 52 because it's the first, and 53 because of the art. But 54, like it was a first real nice design and had a lot of color to it. Those early few sets of Topps are very popular, and because of the design, the look. 55 and 56 fall off a little bit because they went, instead of being a vertical card, to a horizontal. So now you had to turn your head, and they were a little bit bigger than the other cards, and so they 50 and 57 is kind of boring. It's a white border with a yellow name on the bottom. It's not super fun. And also 59 is really hot because they used a lot of color. Again, it's
Yep.
like an oval photo of the guy with a bright color. Bob Gibson's the rookie in that, but he's got like a pink background to him.
Okay.
And
Now I know what's
and
what
so
design you're
that's
talking
really
about.
cool. Like Mitt Mantle has a red background to it, which just pops. I don't know how they chose the colors. It's weird because you hear the stories about Bob Gibson, and he was I'm going to kill you on the mound type guy and live that. And he's got this pretty pink card and he's
Yeah.
smiling in the photo. And you're like, that's not everything Bob Gibson's not.
Yep.
Can I tell you a Bob Gibson story that actually it's an Orlando Cepeda. He
There we
told the
go.
story, the late great Orlando Cepeda.
Whoa.
And Mark Ibanez, who was a legendary Bay Area TV guy, he told us this story once doing an interview with him. Orlando Cepeda was on, as you know, the Cardinals. They won the World Series 67, 68. They get to the World Series, they lose. 69, he gets traded for Joe Torre. So 1969, the Cardinals are playing the Braves, and so Bob Gibson has Orlando Cepeda over to his house for lunch, and so then they have the game. So it's like, okay, great. They really, as you say, Bob Gibson, a great guy, except on the diamond, a different kind of guy. So then the game starts. Bob Gibson's on the mound. Orlando Cepeda steps in, and first pitch knocks him down. And Cepeda gets up and says, "Bob, I just had lunch at your house." And he says, "Well, we're not at lunch now, are we, bleeping mother bleeper?"
Yeah. Well, the same thing about Bob is there was a guy that homered off of him, I think, in his last start of his career. And Bob never got to face him again until an old timers game like 20 years later. What did Bob do? Beamed him,
Yeah.
stuck him in the
Sure.
ribs.
Yeah.
Because you know what? The last time you faced
Uh-huh.
me, you homered off me. And so now I'm taking you down. So
Emil has a NBA free agent update.
uh-oh.
Yeah, breaking coming from Woj. It's nothing with the Kings,
Another with
but it was a target that we were looking at potentially if he did make it to market. Royce O'Neal has reportedly signed a 4-year, $44 million deal to stay with the Phoenix Suns.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah.
$11 million
Good for him.
annually for Royce O'Neal over
Okay.
4 years.
You know,
That's a
they
lot of
gotta-
money.
Any way they can add somebody, they have to. They're so
I mean,
strapped. And
Overpay? Question mark?
sure.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's all like people got weird when Bam got all that money and stuff. Like, okay,
Well,
and like some of these other guys.
yeah.
But there was one time when Bismack Biyombo got a $98 million deal not too long ago. So let's not forget that.
Shout out to Timofey Mozgov. Go get that bag, baby.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if you guys heard Emil yesterday. Excuse me, Imran. I meant to say Emil's right here. Imran was on with us on the Drive Guys, and we were talking about what we'd like to see the Kings do. Did you hear this, Chef?
I
I
did
did.
not.
I heard
Okay.
this. I watched it all last night.
So Imran Pilata, your boss, obviously brilliant, right? Brilliant
Yeah.
guy. Look at the businesses. What was that?
Yeah.
He says, "I'd like to see the Kings go get Mo Bamba."
I know why he said it though. I know why he said
He's got
that.
a bunch of Mo
Same
Bamba
reason he said.
cards.
Same reason he said Zach Edey. He can sell it.
Oh,
No, I love Zach. I'm just disappointed we did not get Zach.
I'm not.
That was
I
my
know
disappointed.
he gave you a hard time when you
Yeah.
called, but
I'm not
yeah, he
disappointed.
went higher than a lot of people
Hey,
thought.
listen,
Thank
I'm
goodness we
telling you.
didn't take Zach Edey. I see him flaming out in the NBA. I really do.
Flaming out.
Yes.
Does he play more years than Wemby? Yes.
What? No. No. I
Okay.
see him being like a Luka Garza.
My prediction for Edie is that he's going to end up on one of the expansion teams, Las Vegas or Seattle, and
That'd
he's
be
going
fun.
to average. He's going to be an all-star in one of those teams.
Right. I can see it.
But
Yeah,
yes,
can
I
see
would
it.
not like Mo Bamba on my team, please.
Well-
Also, you came off the top rope yesterday with that one. I was giggling watching that last night. I mean, you just had him dead to rights too. I didn't know why he was quick like that. Look at that.
Oh, well, thanks. Yeah, that just kind of caught me off guard a little bit.
I mean, it was a tough thought. It was a real
Yeah.
tough thought exercise. Mo
Yeah.
Bamba or no.
Yeah.
Listen, we just need more point guards on this team. So that's any point guard we can get.
Any point guard. Yeah.
Trade away all
6
the
is
big
not
guys.
enough.
We want to start it. We want a whole starting lineup of 6'3" and under.
Yeah.
Try to catch us.
As for vintage cards, can I tell one more Bob
Yes,
Gibson
please.
story? We're
Yeah.
talking about Bob Gibson.
Yes.
So the story goes, and this has to do, of course, with the Willie Mays we just lost as well, as you guys pointed out earlier. So Jim Ray Hart, does anyone know Jim Ray Hart?
Yep.
He was
I've heard the
like
name.
in the late 60s, a Giant,
First baseman.
and he's really good hitter. And so his first game, they're playing the Cardinals. It's a doubleheader. First game, he hits a home run. He has a big day, so he's feeling pretty good about himself. And between games, Willie Mays says, "Hey, Jim Ray Hart, just so you know, you're facing Bob Gibson in the second game. So there's some things you got to know." And Jim Ray Hart, he tells the story himself. He says, "I thought at that point," he's like, yeah, I got this. He says, "I didn't really listen to what Willie Mays says." So
Oops.
he comes up to bat against Bob Gibson. Jim Ray Hart steps in. "Oh, that ain't Jim Ray Hart." He says the first thing he does, start digging in.
Oh no.
And he hears Willie Mays, no. First pitch breaks his shoulder blade. Gibson breaks him his shoulder blade. Lesson was you never dig in against Bob Gibson.
Yeah.
He took that first.
Nice.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah. And, Will Clark tells a fun story about his first at bat and he homered off Nolan Ryan and didn't realize that and, was pretty excited with himself and realized Chili Davis told him in the dugout, that was a bad decision. That was bad. And Will didn't understand until he went up to the next at bat and was on his bum.
Yeah.
Next at bat against
That's
Nolan
scary.
Ryan. That's some heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I was at a Giants Astros game once, and it was a day game, and Kruko was facing Nolan Ryan, and Kruko's up to bat. Nolan Ryan throws him something that was a little close. I don't think there was any intent there, but Kruko thought there might have been. So I remember Ryan throws the pitch, and he's not even looking, and Kruko's like gesturing towards the mound, and Nolan Ryan looks back like, What? You want to go? And then, of course, everybody, things settle down. The next pitch was a curveball.
Uh-oh.
And Mike Kruko was in like San Leandro. He bailed out, he saw that curveball. It's like, oh no. And it's strike. So,
Jeez.
yeah. You don't want to mess with those guys.
Don't mess with the Hall of Fame pitchers. There's
The
a
hard
reason.
Throwers.
There's a reason.
I mean, Nolan Ryan's only famous because he's on Jerry Kuzman's rookie card in the 68 top set.
68 tops.
Yeah. Which is that it looks like
It's like the brown dots kind of
it
thing.
looks like a burlap sack.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
which
know
is-
exactly what
yeah.
set you.
Johnny Bench is in there. It's a really, really good set. So
The weird thing about that set is on some of the cards, the dots are bigger.
yes,
Isn't it?
the hatching looks different. Like
Yes.
the it's not consistent through the whole
Right.
because back then they would do like 6, 7, 8 series depending on then they would release it throughout the year. Every few weeks you'd get a different print or months you'd get a different print run of the cards. And so not all of them look similar.
Right.
But it's hey, it takes you back to the 60s. It was fun. And like
Yeah.
I said, back then they cut all the cards on a Friday. That's why when you get these higher grade cards, because they're centered right. You know, those were well taken care of because these guys didn't care when they were cutting the cards. They just cut them on a Friday. They were going home and looking to go
Really?
drink that
That's
paycheck.
interesting.
You know,
I have a Dr. J rookie card, and it is so far off center. You know, it's still it's cool. It's a Dr. J rookie card, but it's not even close.
Yeah.
It's not even like 60-40. It's like 75-25.
My
Yeah,
favorite
something like that.
or
Yeah.
the old ones where it has like it'll say like Walt Bellamy at top, and then
Yep.
at the
Oh, yeah.
bottom is Rick Adelman, but there doesn't say Rick Adelman because the card's
Right.
so cut so poorly. They
Yep.
they included the bottom
You
of the last card.
You know what's funny? That's still happening. Panini. How many times have you ripped
Yeah.
open a blaster box and gotten, oh, it's Zion Williamson. Oh, wait, it's not on the back.
yeah, or
Now, are those ever worth more? Because there's some
Not-
people seem to think they are.
not anymore. Like that whole thing in the '90s was a really big thing. The air cards are, hey, look, there's a Tim Tuffle, but look in the background, Ricky Henderson's in the card.
Tough.
Like, oh, the card's worth more because Ricky's in that Tim Tuffle card. I need it. No, that's not the case anymore.
No.
Unfortunately, the just real quick, we get a lot of calls about this on, hey, I have 1990 Donruss with the wrong birth date, or hey, it's missing the period here,
Yeah,
or it's
man.
got an extra period here, or the guy's got a scrape. It's not. They print a bazillion of these cards, and they're not worth any more than the other
No.
one's worth. People tend to pay for. You know, you'll see people listing them. They're not, guys. They're a 10 cent.
I
How
wish
about-
they were worth more.
How about this one? I got a couple of years ago, Prism. On the front,
Yeah,
it's Bagley. I think it's an ice Prism.
sure.
And on the back, it's Vince Carter.
Oh
Yep, that happens all the time.
yeah. They
Yeah.
Panini's got when they
You just got Panini'd.
Yeah. Because a lot of people, the initial reaction, and one of my initial reactions was, whoa,
Yeah.
this is probably really rare.
For example,
But you look on eBay,
an
it's like,
example
no, it's not rare.
an example this year. Now Val Venus, shout out Val Venus in the chat, just put it
Yeah.
in there. Panini put Chris Duarte on Colby Jones
Yeah.
rookie cards
multiple times,
multiple times,
And they
on
don't look-
big cards too.
and they don't look close or wear the same jersey number.
It's super not right.
And then, real quick, Topps did something. There was a pitcher that was traded from San Diego to Pittsburgh, and he's in Series 2 Topps. And so they didn't have a picture of him when they printed the product in a Pittsburgh uniform. So they photoshopped, which happens.
Yeah.
But what's different with San Diego and Pittsburgh is jersey number on the belly. And this pitcher was wearing 21 with the Padres and got traded to Pittsburgh. Well, he doesn't wear 21 because that's retired for Clemente.
Mhm.
Well, on the card, they photoshopped the number 21. So he's in a Pirates uniform wearing a 21. So it
Yeah.
looks like he's wearing Clemente's jersey. Number's like, who's this dude wearing Clemente's jersey? Like, how do you miss? Like, yeah, like that's not a good look when
No.
you have somebody that's actually manipulating an image
Mhm.
and they manipulate it incorrectly with it. They put a bad number on it. And it's like, just leave it off. No one would have probably noticed.
Yeah.
But the fact that you put the wrong number on and it's a retired number. Kyle Filipowski that got drafted in the second round for the Jazz this year
Yeah.
held up a jersey, Jazz jersey number 32, like it was his. I don't know if he did it because it was the Jazz jersey they had available where he was, and it's a Karl Malone jersey, or that he was the 32nd pick.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
But it looked weird because it's like that's like the most famous player in the team's history,
Yeah.
and yet it fell that number. It's just kind of weird. Just
Well, there's a lot of weird things about Kyle Filipowski.
oh,
You-
yeah,
you
no,
know.
we don't have time for
We don't have
that.
time for that one.
But other draft picks,
Yeah.
the Sharks. We don't talk a lot of hockey. We don't sell a ton of hockey in the shop. Connor Bedard drove a lot of hockey sales this year for us so
Yep.
far. But San Jose had the number 1 pick last night,
We did.
and it was a no-brainer pick from what I understand.
Yes.
A young guy, 18-year-old center, Macklin Celebrini was the number 1 pick. Found out his dad is a strength and conditioning or a player development guy
been
with the
Steph's
Warriors.
trainer for a long time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so he's getting to go to San Jose, familiar with the area. It's great. Bring him back home. He was playing at the University of Boston or
Yeah.
Boston University, which is, if you guys don't follow college hockey, is like playing at UCLA or
One of the biggest.
Duke, KU. It's one of the big schools.
They're
you
always
go
in the
to.
Frozen Four.
He's 17. He was the youngest winner of the Hobie Baker Award, which is the NCAA's top hockey player. He was just tremendous. I think that it's really the Sharks won like 19 games last year.
They were.
They played
abysmal.
82 and they won 19. So they were really, really terrible.
They were purposely losing.
Yeah.
It was like,
So now they got a kid, and hopefully they can do this, and maybe it'll drive some hockey collecting locally.
Let me ask our guest, Whitey Gleason. Whitey
Yes,
Gleason.
yes.
With the potential of the Sharks, I'm not gonna say they're back, but them getting a generational prospect
Mm-hmm.
similar to Connor Bedard, does that increase your interest in potentially getting back into the hockey realm?
No, it's a sensitive subject for me because not too long ago I took all my 1972 Topps hockey cards
Ooh.
and I sold them all. And got a decent, not great or anything, but it was like, Gump Worsley, see you later. Even Bobby Orr. I had some nice ones in
Wow.
there. So I feel like now I'm out.
You're out.
And probably not going to climb back
Okay.
in.
But for people who were like, I don't know about this hockey thing, local tie. Now that there is a generational, do you think that this is a chance to get back into it for some
Yeah,
people?
how do they do? How do the hockey cards? How
Yeah.
popular are they?
So you have basketball and football.
You don't
they-
have hockey, do you? Hockey cards?
I don't. I have to stop myself somewhere.
I only buy the hot young gun rookies because that's the card that you want, and usually it's affordable and
Is
sometimes
that upper deck?
upper deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's you get 6 per box in series 1 or 2. It's great because it means a rookie card's it meant something. It carries that value. So it's weird because you have basketball and football that are probably the 2 top most collected sports. Baseball now is a distant third.
Wow.
And then fourth, it comes up now. Is it soccer? Is it combat sports? And when I say combat sports, UFC, WWE, kind of together because I feel like they cross over a lot. You have
They're the same company.
racing.
There's not
right.
pickleball cards, are
Not
there?
Yes,
yet.
there are.
Don't- Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there are.
They're
Oh my
coming out with them.
goodness.
Yeah.
It's getting to the 1990s now where everybody's getting cards. But then it goes to hockey, right?
Yeah.
So some areas hockey might be above baseball in America. Soccer,
Especially our friends up north.
yeah, soccer.
That's not America.
That's fair.
well.
Well, it is
Minnesota.
technically, isn't it?
Is
It's North
Minnesota
America.
Canada?
Yeah, North America.
But
Sure.
then you got racing, and then F1 had a big run, and that's kind of really fallen off. And hockey sometimes does well. It depends on the guy. Soccer will have some. It just, I want to know what do you guys think is the 4th sport in collecting right now? I have a feeling you're going to lean a certain way.
So if we're going basketball, football, and then what's the third for you?
Baseball.
Baseball. Okay, basketball, baseball. I think it's soccer.
I don't even collect soccer, but I would think it would have to be.
Because of the
And I
international.
I believe that soccer's there, and it's just hard because hockey is really tough because again, it's not played everywhere.
Mhm.
It's one of those things, a game you have to grow up with, and it's just but when a local team has the number 1 pick and it's a no-brainer, I think it's a good thing, and hopefully will drive some people to get some interest in hockey because I remember I knew zero about hockey in 1990. And then all of a sudden in 91, the Sharks came around. Was it 91 or 92? I was a young kid. And we started playing street hockey. We all got plastic sticks.
Yep.
We had an
Milek.
orange round ball.
Milek is the maker of
Okay.
those.
And we would
Milek's
go
street
out
hockey.
and we didn't know what we were doing. We were just hitting a ball and with,
Yep.
Back-
Did the same
a
thing.
stick at each other.
Back
Like we
when
were
kids
playing,
played outside.
yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of stick ball, we were playing hockey. And that lasted all about 3 weeks with us because we had no idea what we were doing. And we went back to playing baseball, but we tried.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is it could bring some life back. But something interesting I saw floating around the interwebs this week on IG was
Oh,
there is now a new slot machine from PSA in Vegas. It was at the Plaza Hotel. Now I don't know if this is a nice hotel or is it downtown hotel or is it a strip hotel?
I think it's down.
It sounds like it might be a downtown hotel. But now they have a vending machine that has PSA 10s in it, and you can select if you want Pokemon or if you want sports cards. And you throw your $50 in and hit the button, and it's going to give you a PSA 10 of either, if you chose Pokemon, you get a Pokemon PSA 10. You chose sports, you're going to get a sport
Wow.
PSA 10 for $50. Now, one, how many times are you playing this game?
Are there any guarantees or what do I know about what I could
That-
get?
From what it sounds like, that's the information you're given.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
boy.
you can't pay in cash. It has to be by card too, is what I've learned.
Yeah. So you drop 50 and you get a PSA 10, what, like 1987 Rick Aguilera tops? Worth about $10.
Well, the example.
Or can you get a LeBron?
Who
rookie?
knows? Again, the example I saw on the internet was someone did a Pokemon. They got a Charizard art illustration card, and it was I think it was $25 or $30, so they lost about half the value. Again, you get what you pay for.
Mhm.
Respectfully, it's gambling. It is degenerate gambling at its finest, and you get what you pay for. So you might get more than $50 card, or you might get a $10 card. That's the beauty of Vegas.
Yeah, I would need to know what I have a shot at.
I want at least a chase card or two.
Yes, yes.
Like let me know what I'm trying to get into. Again, this is the ultimate repacker, right?
Oh
Because
yeah,
PSA is grading these cards and then putting them in their own slot machine. To me, that's a tad hinky because, like, could you grade a card to 10, even though it's maybe not a 10 because you need, hey, Emil, I need 6 more PSA 10s to drop in our slot machine Can you find some for me? Here's some
Sure.
cards.
Just give me those.
I
10.
just dropped these on the corner walking up the stairs. Can you give these 10s real quick? Don't worry about those corners. Just cut them off.
It's a nice design though. It's a nice PSA box, and it
Yeah.
comes to you, but that's all you get. And there's again the information is sparse.
But how many times you gonna try at least once?
I'll do once.
You do it one time.
I'm okay losing $50 one time.
One time.
After that, it's a bad idea.
As I sit here now, I say, oh, I wouldn't do that. If I were there, I'd do it at least once. And if the first one was halfway decent, I'd be in at least twice.
I think
And that's the beauty of Vegas.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
if you do it and all your friends are with you, then
Yeah.
it's got to be like a pact. We're all gonna do this.
Especially late at night when
Yeah.
you've been out having a good time and you come back. Oh, a slot machine with cards. Zoop, zoop,
Yep.
zoop.
I just won $1,000. Let's see how fast I can lose
Oh, a
it. buying
Charizard
cards.
Hollow.
No idea, but yeah, I love it. Well, as we wrap up
Yep.
today, I just want to say thank you all for listening to us on Sacktown Sports 1140. For Emil, for Whitey, for Emran, for Beckett. It's Big Shep. We appreciate y'all. Come down and hang out at the shop, 6661 Stanford Ranch, Rockland. We're open every day. Come see me. I'll be there all day today.
As well as at the Fairfield show. Go check us out there and everything going on. We'll be back next week. Whitey, thank you for being here today,
Just
man.
leave it.
Well,
Just leave it.
I love it.
I love it. Thanks,
See you
guys.
next week.